project is officially not working at all.
No, the plan is not going as planned.
Good morning, everyone. Russell is off taking the kids to the bus stop, and as soon as he gets back, we are starting on our garden. We've been planting this garden since last year when we were doing the playground and dug extra water lines for the garden. We are using raised metal garden beds from Sproutbox, which is a Canadian company. They actually sponsored this video, so thank you to Sproutbox. And Russ and I were already on the software designing out our garden plan, so we'll show that to you right away. And then as soon as he gets back, we are going to be jumping into the garden and doing some measurements. Honestly, I feel like I have kind of a black thumb. So we're doing everything we can to make this garden as simple as possible, and hopefully we will succeed.
The really cool thing about Sproutbox's design software is you can kind of start with the area that you're working within to give yourself a limit, and then you have full access to their inventory of all the different garden boxes and configurations that they actually sell. So you can take those and you place them in your little footprint, and you can kind of decide if you want L's, if you want circles. It's really cool. You can add some fences and trees to kind of mimic your backyard. What I also like about it is it's really easy to see dimensions and kind of how things work for spacing. So overall, it's a really easy to use program, and it gives you a really good visual before you start actually building the garden.
We should really have known how big this slope was, but we underestimated the amount. It's like 2 feet in difference from one side to the other. So I think what we've decided to do is try and dig down about 12 inches on this side and then add all that over there to kind of level everything out. But that will mean that we need a bit of a retaining wall on that side and a bit of a retaining wall on this side. So that'll be probably a couple $100 in stone or something, but it will be all level and nice, and we can still do the garden plan we want.
I should have known, because this is the exact same slope I dealt with there to level the playground.
It just visually didn't look the same, but it is. So yeah, here we go, digging for this foreseeable future. So this project is officially not working at all.
No, the plan is not going as planned. What do we do now?
If I could have leveled this entire property out to the level of our playground, or this entire section.
If we just bring in like 50 loads of dirt and then bring our grade up by like 2 or 3 meters, we would have been golden.
I'm just saying, if I could have leveled this out, that would have been okay. But we can't level this side all the way down because there's a sewer line.
Yeah.
So then we were like, we could bring one side down and one side up. But that...
Even then, I don't like how much cover we're going to be ending
And
with.
Aesthetically, I don't like the look of that. We built one of the pieces just to see how it would look on the slope.
The piece looks awesome.
The L is my favorite design. I'm genuinely sad to not use it, but it just doesn't work with our property.
No. So we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board.
Luckily, these garden beds are like incredibly versatile, so we can switch the configuration, use what we need, possibly make other separate, different sized garden beds. It still has lots of options.
Just, we have to go back to the drawing board. So based on what we just figured out outside, having a one flat bed is not gonna work for our garden. So I think what we've decided is to go with 4 long rectangles, and we'll just terrace them in our yard because that's a lot less work. we have come up with plan configuration number 2. The new plan is to just do 4 long rectangles and terrace them, because in that way we can kind of work with the slope more than trying to remove the slope. It's only going to be like 4 or 5 inches difference between each top of garden, but I think that's going to work the best, and it's the least amount of dirt to move. So these are the stakes, these are the rows of each garden.
Got them put out here, 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 here.
And then the big stakes are kind of the limits of the end of where we'll have mulch. So I think this is going to work a lot better, and we need to remember to run hoses and water drip lines and all that fun stuff too. So like this is close, so rake that back. Oh, this one's close to, that's level here. So boom, that's good. Yeah, so yeah, we'll call that good.
Problems are semi-solved.
I mean, the problems are solved.
The problems are solved.
Yeah.
We built all the garden beds. They're in place. And we've leveled out all of the different terraces that the beds will sit on. So now we have a couple new tasks to work on. One is the irrigation. Russell's going to be digging out water lines.
We have the main run. We put the main run there when we did the playground, and now I just need to expose the box and then run some quick lines to each box, and then we'll do the drip feed system once all the dirt's in place. We got a programmer and everything so that it can just automatically water itself. Yeah. And then, because if it doesn't do it itself, it's not going to get done.
It has to be as hands-off as possible for us. Next step, irrigation.
Before we could put any of the raised beds in place, we wanted to get our water figured out. As mentioned before, we had installed a manifold box in place, so now we just needed to dig a trench to the manifold on either side and tie in each garden bed with a water line. We'll have a blog post explaining how we did all the irrigation, and we'll include that in the video description.
To fill the garden beds, we looked online for some suggestions because we didn't want to pay for a full foot plus of soil in each one. So we had some leftover mulch of our own, and we had a whole bunch of wood chips from when we did our own pruning and used a chipper at home. With all of that and with our compost, we did a few different layers. We put the mulch down first, then we put layers of the chips that we had created from our pruning. Then we put a layer of compost, then another layer of the chips, and then the soil. So we still have a good 10 inches of soil, which should be plenty of space for the roots to grow, but it filled up the garden beds nicely and was a little bit more affordable.
The dirt is in.
The dirt is in, starting to actually look like a garden.
Yes, but now we just need to cover all the black geotextile.
We're putting the border on.
And we found this border. It's rubber, it's like a recycled plastic, made in Canada. And you just put it on, it has like these little holes to pin them in, and never used it before, but I think it should work.
And it's from Costco, so if it doesn't work, we'll just take it back.
Yep. We worked until it was like pitch black, but we got all the chips in and we will see how it looks tomorrow. With the raised beds in place and all the soil installed, now we could add our drip feed watering system. So we had just an enclosed black pipe that came from our manifold box, and from that we added a valve so we could either restrict the water flow or turn off a section, and then that led to a perforated pipe that does a slow water or like a drip feed water system in the raised bed.
As a bonus, because we had changed our layout earlier, we used all of the leftover pieces from the garden bed to make these cute little planters, which we are using for strawberries and blueberries. So the garden is planted and it is looking amazing.
So the garden was a bunch of work, but actually probably the funnest part was planting all the starters.
That was definitely the most fun for me. And the lady at the garden center gave us a ton of amazing free advice. So thank you to her if she ever sees this.
Lindy has also been checking on the plants by the hour, and I'm pretty sure that's not helping anything right now.
I don't have the patience to be a gardener.
It's like you have to at least wait a couple days, not an hour after we plant them.
But stay tuned, because hopefully we will share a little short video at the end of the summer to show you how the garden grew. Or you can follow us on Instagram, because we'll be doing updates there probably all summer long.
A huge thanks to Sproutbox for letting us have a cool garden.
Yay!
And getting us some cool, healthy food.
We're excited. Very excited.
Here is a rough breakdown of what we spent on the garden. The raised garden beds were free to us, but here's the rough cost of those. And we also have a rough cost of all the supplies like mulch, dirt, chips, and edging.
If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let us know what you think of our new garden in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe because we have more great budget-friendly DIY projects coming very, very soon.
Thanks so much for watching, and we will catch you next time.